Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's good to have you back. I'm here to continue the series of the conjoined twins journey. I think where I left off when I had given birth to the twins, and I've also given you guys a vlog on the delivery of the twins. Please feel free to go onto my channel and literally watch, indulge in the story. But before I go any further, I want you to like, share, and subscribe or comment. You don't have to share, it's fine, I understand, but you can comment. Let's talk about life. Either way, I will not be discouraged in sharing these videos because I believe one or two people will be encouraged from this. So whether you like it or not, whether you want to share or to like or to subscribe, it's fine. Let's indulge. Let's talk about life. Let's encourage each other. I'm on a mandate that God has given me to come out and encourage somebody out there who may be going through something and they need an anchor. They need somebody who can be a source of strength to them. And I've made myself available for that. So let's talk about it. After the C-section, the twins, were taken to Great Ormond Street Hospital, which is one of the best hospitals in the UK. I was so blessed. Sometimes when God plans your life, it's like He knows exactly what you're going to go through. And that's the truth of the matter, because they say, "For I knew you before you were formed." So I believe that if I was back in Zimbabwe, if you don't know where I'm from, I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I grew up in Zimbabwe, came to the UK at the age of 16. And when I came here, literally, I never thought I'd ever go through a difficult situation like this. But guess what? Now I am able to I can understand why God had to move me from Zimbabwe to the United Kingdom, because if I had a conjoined twins in Zimbabwe, I bet you guys, I don't know if I would have survived. I don't know if the twins would have survived. Honestly, the Great Ormond Street Hospital, one of the best hospitals, and I am grateful to God that I was able to get my kids looked after there. Tell me where you're watching from and what you think. If it was Nigeria, my husband's from Nigeria, do you think the twins would have made it? Do you think I would have made it? They probably wouldn't have known. I mean, with the kind of lifestyle that I lived back home, um, we came from a poor background, so probably the sonographer thing that I experienced here probably wouldn't have had a chance to have that. I would have found out I'm pregnant, and then at the last stage, then they're like, "Oh, try and push," and then figure out I can't push. It's conjoined twins. So thank God that the C-section happened and everything went well. Of course, it took a bit of time for me to recover. It's a C-section. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks. For my first child, it took me 2 weeks, but for the twins, somehow it took me longer. The incision was so painful. But I survived it. I'm out. I'm here. I'm okay. Uh, you know, but I'll talk about recovery later on. But I'm just letting you know that that's what happened. I had a C-section and it was painful. So say the kids were in the neonatal unit for a couple of days whilst I was still in hospital. Then I moved from there to the hospital to join them, to be with them. So for 5 days I wasn't with the twins, and then I went and I stayed with them over at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Lucky enough for us, we were given a private room, and I had a bed there, so I could stay in there for a while. Uh, my husband had another place where he was accommodated to stay there. And if I wanted to go and rest, sometimes I would go and rest over there. But if you're a twin mama and you're living in hospital, you want to be besides your children, right? And so I was besides them 24/7. I didn't want to leave their side. I just wanted to make sure that they are okay. Not that the doctors and the nurses were not doing a good job, but it was nice for me to be there. The nurses at Great Ormond Street were amazing. They looked after the twins very well. At some point, they were looking after me, checking on me, making sure that I was okay, even though it was outside their jurisdiction. They managed to look after us. I stayed with the twins in the hospital for 2 months before their separation. So they were born at 36 weeks. They couldn't separate them immediately. Why? Because they were very tiny. They were about 2.25 kg each, and so they couldn't do the separation. So they wanted to wait for them to gain weight. Up until maybe they wanted them to be a good chunk, like maybe 6 kilos each, before they could do the separation. So the twins, because of their heart conditions, uh, gaining weight wasn't that easy. Um, so they had to go through diets. They had dietitians who would look after them and plan their diets so that they could increase in weight. I was totally against most of the things that they were saying, because personally I wanted to breastfeed my kids, because I knew that breastfeeding had so much, so much in vitamins, so much nutrients, and it could get them to gain weight. But I understood where the doctors were coming from to get me not to breastfeed, because when you have a heart condition, your heart works faster, and that means your metabolism is faster as well. So you're not really losing weight. You're not really gaining the weight. You're losing it because your metabolism is faster and you're getting tired. And they didn't want them to get tired, because breastfeeding is, it's work. You're working, and if you get tired, it affects your breathing, affects everything. So they really tried to stop me from breastfeeding. So all I needed to do was to pump, and pumping wasn't easy as well, because look, I had gone through so much. My hormone levels, my stress hormone levels were probably high at that time, so the production wasn't much. So I had to succumb to them giving the kids, to them giving the children the other kind of milk, and it was okay. I think they called it infantry. um it was high calorific, but it was disgusting. Breast milk is nice. I've tasted breast milk, my breast milk. Like, I just wanted to taste what the kids were getting, and it's very, very sweet. Yes, I know it's disgusting, but yeah, it's okay. I'm that mom who, when my kids are given medication, I want to taste it, to see and to taste what they're having before they can have it. If you don't do it now, what for you? If you don't do it now, what for you? All right. So stayed in the hospital for 2 months. It was a tough time having the meals there. Was separate from my other kids. If you can see pictures, my twins, no, my two boys were at home with their uncle and my husband, and I stayed in the hospital. And the hospital is like 5 hours away from home. Uh, it's okay. I had to do what was best for the kids. But at some point, the doctors wanted to actually move the twins to Middlesbrough, so that they could grow and I could be closer to home, and etc. Because I didn't have family around. I had people around who would come and visit. My brother from London would come and visit, but it was a lot harder, and I wanted to come back to Middlesbrough with my twins conjoined like that, but then the doctors had their own meetings, and the heart specialists decided that no, it wasn't safe for us to come back home, because the twins' hearts were very delicate. They needed to monitor them every single day before the separation. So I stayed in the hospital for 2 good months with them, and then they were separated in June. Separation, oh my gosh. I was counting down because I was so excited to see them separate, and having the, like, getting to this place where they were was a miracle for me, because I didn't think they would survive still being conjoined and, doing everything normal children would do. I didn't think would get to this place. And so I'm grateful to God that we got to the place of separation, and that they were separated successfully. The separation uh, took about 6 hours altogether. Uh, the separation in itself, them being cut together in between together, it took maybe 2 hours, but altogether the process and everything, putting them to sleep, intubating them, and stuff like that took longer. But altogether it was half a day. They went in around 9 a.m. and they came out around 3 a.m. at 3 p.m. My God, that was the longest weight of my life. My husband and I, the morning we got them ready, we bathed them. I couldn't give them milk, I couldn't give them anything in the morning because they had to be empty totally. All we could give them was the drip, which is the water and salt and sugar solution. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we had to give them that. The nurses, the doctors had to give them that, and that's all they had. I couldn't comfort them, I couldn't do anything. All I could do was hold them, pray with them, and cry out to God for mercy, and just trust that He was in control of everything. And I'm grateful to God because He showed Himself manifest. I cried out. My husband and I cried out day in and day out for the babies to be separated uh, 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 um, nicely, and that's what happened. And we're grateful to God for the team and the people that He sent our way to be able to uplift us and to pray with us, because 2 weeks prior to the twins being separated, we had a group of people come together to pray with us, and I was so amazed at everyone showing up at 9. I think it was 12 p.m. and 9 p.m. and people were praying and praying. And I believe this testimony was not just for my husband and I, but it's a testimony for every single person that prayed over there. Yeah, so the twins were separated nicely, no complications, although the recovery took a little bit longer for Zane. Why? Because his heart was more delicate, but everything else went superb, and we are grateful to God for that. They're out now. It's been a year and a bit post surgery. The twins did so well, but I think 6 or 7 months after we came out from the hospital, we had to go back for Zane to have a heart surgery to correct his heart, and they corrected his heart. Although I didn't want the same feeling of going back to hospital, because I was like, Lord, do not let an affliction arise the second time. Please do your healing. And God did miraculous things throughout, because they were telling, before I left the hospital after the separation, I was told, um, they did a handover. I don't know if you know a handover. If you have children with heart condition, or if you have a child with a heart condition, they give you notes as to what to expect. Sometimes kids can go into, they can either have a stroke, heart failure, or anything. So really, you have to be prepared. You need to know when they're spelling. You need to know when they're breathing harder. Living with a heart, like a child with a heart condition. Oh my gosh! Like, kudos to all those people who are living with kids with heart condition, or kids who are experiencing a tough time in their health. Kudos to you, because you're doing a great job. Because at one point I couldn't feed Zane via the mouth. because he was breathing a lot harder. You have to do it through the tube. That's another story for another day, because it's a lot of work. Waking up every 3 hours or every 2 hours with no rest, making sure that your child is well fed. But we are here now, we're out. The stress, the everything. I cannot believe I'm at the other end of the tunnel. I still marvel every single time. I'm like, oh, really? I'm at the other end of the tunnel. Honestly, I pray for every mama out there who's experiencing a hard time on their children, or over anything situation. I know it's not easy. I know it's hard. I know it's painful. I know it's tough. But hang in there, mama. God gave you the strength for you to carry out this journey, for you to go through this journey. God gave you everything He gave you everything to be able to look after those children of that child. God knew you were the best mama. He knew you were the best person to care for that child. And so hang on, hang on, hang on. Things are gonna get better. I will post a vlog on Zane's surgery as time goes on, but the twins are doing fabulous. We give God the glory. We give Him all the honor. And we just want to thank God. Once again, I pray for every mama facing a tough situation. I know it's not easy. Keep the faith up. Faith doesn't mean things will be easy, but faith simply means it. If it's impossible with man, it is possible with God. If it is impossible with man, it is possible with God. So where the doctors have stopped, I declare and decree that God is taking over and taking charge. Have a good day and be blessed. Yeah, I love you all. If you have any questions, let me know and I will do my best to answer. Yeah.